celebrate every culture. And so every culture has a month. And if it does it, there's special days. I think St. Patrick's Day is coming up. So we like to make an emphasis on all the uniqueness here at Dillon. Meaning we are like a rainbow here at Dillon. And we're proud of that rainbow. So we will celebrate everybody's month. I'm from Mississippi. We want to celebrate a Southern month.
What part of Mississippi you from?
Pittsburgh. Because just like the South and the North are totally different.
I'm Mississippi.
Oh, see,
I was born in Pittsburgh.
oh, see how you found out, Jane? Yes, you got fellow Mississippians in here.
Yes, we do.
But I traveled a lot, and I lived a lot of my life in Germany. And I speak German. So there's beautiful and culture, and being able to celebrate everybody's culture. So today we want to celebrate a very special culture. That's Black History Month. And we want to celebrate, some people may call it Black Americans, some people call us African Americans. Some people say our history didn't start in slavery, but it started way before slavery. Some people don't understand that there's different continents and whole different countries. There's a lot of things that people don't understand. So it's always good, and we have history right here among us, and I'm always excited because I love working with the elderly because I get so much feedback and what was being done. Right here in America, our history is not so old. It does not go as far as a lot of people. And we spend a lot of that time. I think this year we celebrated 400 years of when slavery and stuff was gone. After slavery, we went through the Jim Crow era. And that lasted up until the 70s. So we have a lot of rich history. And I can't talk about it all in one day. I always say Black History Month is for everybody else, because most of us celebrate it all year. But it's a time for other cultures to realize who we are. So today, I want to read a poem. Then I'm going to surprise some of my staff and residents and let them talk about what this Black History Month means to them. So don't y'all leave. What does Black History Month mean to them? Because let me start by telling you what Black History Month means to me. I was born in 1972. My dad fought the Vietnam War. His second rotation was in 1969 when he fought. We were in Germany, me and my mom. And I remember when my dad came home. Well, he came home in like 72. I was a little baby. But I remember as a child, mom talking about the things that they had to go through. Me and my dad being in the military, having to come back to this country and still not being treated equally after he just fought a war for the country. My mom was a nurse. A lot of times, a lot of people would come to our house and get things, free, the medicines and things. She would help out the community. Because in Mississippi especially, as a lot of people have progressed, Mississippi was still behind. There was a lot of racial divide in the 70s. And it was scary. My dad, when I grew up, when I was about 4, my dad leaving the house one day. And it took him a while to come back. And my mom was worried because they were very active in our community. My mom was a part of the Black Panthers, which people have different opinions about it. But in that, she helped when they talk about the WIC program and things like that. My mom was a big advocate of things like that. My dad being military, he had to stay away from controversial things. He came home. Sometimes I heard him crying about the things that he would witness. He would talk about the things in the Vietnam War, how they were called different names, like animals and monkeys, but they still had to fight. And then how the Vietnamese would tell them, hey, go home, this ain't your war. But they still had to stand there and fight in the war. So it was a hard time, and that's not so, I'm only 46. That's not too long ago. So what does Black History Month mean? I said earlier that I don't wait till, like my children, we don't wait till February to celebrate who we are as people. That is something we celebrate all year long. But we enjoy Black History Month because it's a time that we can let other cultures know who we are, what impact we have had here in America and around the world. Because guess what? people are just not in the United States of America. There are German black people. There are people in Great Britain. They are all over the world. My son just came back from South Africa. He visited Cape Town and Johannesburg. And he was very proud of what he saw. Because sometimes we get kind of confused about what other countries are doing and think we're just so much far along in the United States. But there's a lot of black history everywhere being celebrated. Everywhere. So I'm going to read this poem. It says, "My black is beautiful. From the color of my skin to the texture of my hair, to the length of my strands, to the breadth of my smile, to the stride of my gait, to the span of my arms, to the depth of my bosom, to the curve of my hips, to the glow of my skin, my black is beautiful. It cannot be denied, it will not be contained, and only I will define it. For when I look in the mirror, my very soul cries out, my black is beautiful. And so today, I speak it out loud. Unabashedly, I declare it anew, my black is beautiful. Whether celebrated, intimidated, exploited, or how others want to degrade it. Whether natural from inside or skillfully applied, my black is beautiful. To my daughters, my sisters, my nieces, my cousins, my colleagues, and my friends, I speak for all of us when I say, again, my black is beautiful. Okay? So if there are any residents here that, but we got a lot to get through, that want to share what they think about being a black American, African American, whatever you so call yourself. Anybody want to share what that means to you? Any resident? Yeah, from LaShonda. Yeah. Then Cammie, I'm going to ask you to come up here. And I like to call up younger black Americans because sometimes we lose our history of who we are. And, because I'm probably on a generation, I'm a grandmother now, so I'm probably 2 and 3 generations on, but, I try to make sure my children understand, and I like to call up younger people to see how they feel about it, because we're in a different era now. The longer we live, the stories are lost, so it's so important when we can work in this kind of environment, get to know our elderly, to remind us what struggles and what they did for us to even be working there. For me, I have a master's degree in healthcare administration, working as an executive director. What they did to pave that way for me, and I'm so grateful. So I'm gonna let LaShonda kind of share what does Black History Month mean to you?
Let's see. Black History Month. I celebrate Black History every month. Well, a little bit about me. My granddad served in the Navy. He fought in World War II. My uncle was in the Army. He fought in
Vietnam.
Yeah, that was Vietnam. So we celebrated all the military things, and we got the stories of how they were treated overseas. And it was rough. I'm not even gonna lie, it was rough listening to those stories, but we got through it. He was an awesome granddad. But Black History Month to me is celebrating us all the time with every job. Just share.
And
Because that's the only way we're gonna come together, is accepting every culture.
all right, Cammie.
Oh yeah, my t-shirt.
Good afternoon.
Good
I'm
afternoon.
Cammie. I'm the MDS nurse here. I'm like the everybody nurse, quality assurance and stuff like that. I just started last week. So I'm happy to be here. Nice to see everyone. Black History Month to me means a whole lot. My mom and dad growing up made sure we knew about our history. They also taught us about other histories. because they said we all need to know about one another, and that's the way that you should be. Knowledge is power. So I was raised in a real mixed up family. My family is really mixed up. Like, we have Portuguese, Indian, Black, it's a lot of us, a lot of different Creole. So Black history was really all of us coming together in one, because we had so many cultures at the same time, just ethically, religiously, culturally. My dad was Navy. So I was born and raised in Oklahoma. That's where I was born. But I think Black history is like, to me, everybody, because the history that I've been taught, when you think about the history and when you read and you learn where we are about knowing it, you know, a lot of us, we sit around and we say things and we think we know things, but read, investigate, go find out your culture. If this is not the Black History Month, you do it, maybe it's another month, or maybe Black History Month can mark you finding out more about your family, you know, about where they're really from, about what they did, you know. I was able to go back to 1836 with my family heritage and lineage on my mother's side. I'm working on my dad's side now. But a lot of them were sharecroppers. One of them used to work for a lady, was a driver, but I found out a lot of them couldn't read. So that was something to me to make sure that I, you know, make sure I'm a literature driver. So it's just good to know. It's just good to know about your history, you know. So that's what that means to me.
You gonna stand or you gonna be come over?
I don't care how black I was. Some of them white folk, they said, I don't know where my dad was, but they took care of him. And I don't have a pregnant bone in my body, but I knew about slavery because we had to go through the back door. Some of the places we couldn't go through the front. But we went in through the back door. I was language from Mississippi, it's the southern state. And that was the biggest slavery state. And we couldn't even talk good. We couldn't even say things, words right like other folks could. But when I came to Texas, we had outside bathroom. We had plantation and everything. We had chop and pick out, plant food, pull it. But I thank God today where I am now. He brought me from a mighty long way. We didn't even have an inside toilet. It was on the outside. But when I came to Texas, I said, I'm inside. When I got to Texas, because I saw so many different. And the children laughed at me in school because I couldn't say the word. I couldn't say girl. We said good. I couldn't say sweet. I was saying sweet. That's where we was from. Because we come from Mississippi. And a lot of things we couldn't say right. But I thank God today. And I ain't forgotten where I came. I don't try to be big stuff. I feel for folk like people felt for me. And people really did help us. They help us with food, they help us with clothes, they help us got a house and everything. And some people, we get too big, we forget from where we came from. We think we more than everybody. But I don't. I'm still a little old Katie that I was when I came here. I'm still the same person.
All right, we're gonna try to roll over to one more person.
Okay.
You can stand there if you want. Everybody move that way.
Okay, my name is John Gordon. I was born and raised here in Dallas, Texas, 1946. Okay. We went to one high school and everything like that. But there's three of them, Charles, Austin, Jones. Now, when we got finished Brooksy White High School, we talking about going to service and everything. I went for a little bit. My oldest brother went in the Navy. Traveled all around the world. He up 6 years. Then my baby brother got drafted. I was there working. And he came to my house, you know, me and my wife was going together then, you know. And I thought, man. And here come mine. Mine popped up. See? So what I did, I went down there and volunteered and went in the Marine Corps. What I did, something stupid. I was sitting down in the chair, and this little scout dude that tall, with some good blues on. And the girl told me, why you want to get proud of me? He said, well, you gotta earn them. And I was number 21 on the stand. He said, well, there's 20 people over there. But you get. I walked up there, I looked at him. I said, I want to medal over here. So I did. I went to the Marine Corps. My wife sent me off at the airport. I got there at Bluefield. My dad said, "Kiss goodbye." I got over there. We were attached to a military group living in the village. One crew was Vietnamese people. We were Texas village. About 5 to 6 miles away without head post. I was called in. I had radio. This is the main thing. When we got there, I didn't get hit, but we got there, we brought all the Vietnamese people home. C-130 jet. Half of them at a Parkland Hospital right now. Some got home. The colonel and stuff adopted some of them, maybe they get home from them somewhere else. This is Dallas, Texas. If you run to Dallas, Texas right now, at Parkland Hospital, you see me black and red. It's been Vietnamese. Now I'm speaking English and that way, they whatever, and they go out. The new kind of mock that we doing, see?
Right.
We had the old kind of mock. That's my generation got, see?
Right.
Now, baby brother died a while back. Just me and my brother right now. My wife, I'm married to a bad family, so my whole bad family. That's it.
All right. And I think listening to more of these stories is, you know, as a black people, we've gone through a lot. I think we can all agree on that. But how remarkable it is to have gone through a lot of things that we have gone through. And we always find ourselves shining and bright.
Came out, didn't it?
Always find ourselves, no matter what. I challenge a lot of different histories. And if you read our history and read what our ancestors have gone through,
Yes.
you know, how can you complain?
See?
How can you complain? I can still go back to Mississippi and see some of the cotton fields that some of my ancestors were forced to work on. How can you complain? Then I look at the beautiful, a lot of different West African, Nigerians. I look at a lot of different places. And I look at the beauty of the differences just among our culture. Just among our culture. So when I read that point saying that my black is beautiful, please believe that.
Yes, it is.
It's okay to love yourself and not hate anyone else. Every culture should love who they are.
Yeah, that's right.
Love who they are. I'm so proud now. We're giving birth to a generation that has come back and find who they are. It's finding that the way we wear our hair, it's okay. Our skin complexion is all right. The way our bodies are shaped is beautiful. The way our mind has been done, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I always tell my daughter, who's a beautiful black young lady, I said, who can say that their hair defines gravity and their skin absorbs the sun? All right. So when we get through with this, something special about this room. Something special about who we are. Everybody. Everybody has something special. But we have black history right here at the building. We have a lot of residents that have done a lot of different things. They just have not told their story. It may not be something big, it may not be something small, but just coming through, there's so many stories that they can share. We heard from some veterans. We heard from women. We've heard from a lot of different things. But there's one particular story I want y'all to hear and know that during the time we were a conquering people. And we still, no matter what was put against us, we still made a difference in different ways. So I'm going to ask Magruder's family, I'm going to ask his daughter to please come up. And she's going to talk about a lot about Mr. Magruder.
My dad was born in 1937 in Muskogee, Oklahoma. Where from Oklahoma?
Oklahoma City, but I have family in Muskogee.
Okay.
So
I'm sure he'll figure out who they are.
I'm sure he will.
And there were 9 of them, and he is the oldest son. And in 1961, he was working for a small animal clinic in Wichita, Kansas, where he met my mom. And they married in December 1963. And after he completed his senior year in vet school, then they moved to Tuskegee Institute, Alabama. And so even though he wanted to eventually work in a small animal clinic, his job at Tuskegee was with the large animal clinic. He taught them sterile dress out in the field, meaning that if he had to go out and work with a cow, he was in his scrubs and with the proper surgical equipment and all of that. And that is where I was born, in Tuskegee Institute at John Andrews Hospital. And they didn't march in Montgomery and do all those things, but rather send money, but they did boycott Tuskegee because of the town didn't allow them to shop unless they went to back on it. So they would drive past that in order to go shopping. There were several offers to practice in a small animal clinic, one in Detroit and the other one in Dallas, Texas. And so while he was waiting to take the state board here in Texas, he worked for the USDA. And that was pretty interesting because, he's government, he's federal government. You walk in and it's like, they're wondering which water fountain he's gonna drink out of, the black one or the white one. And he was also responsible for the food safety. My brother went to vet school, that veterinarians are considered the second in relations to government and national security, because they're responsible for the food. When you look at the poultry and the beef and all that kind of thing. And so it was also making sure that the food was safe. And so he would walk onto the in the factory, and the guys would tap on their watch, meaning that it was running too fast. And so they would say, well, I think you're running too fast. You need to, be at a slower pace. Oh, no, it's just fine, Dad. Hit that button. All right, let's just go into the office and talk about it for a while. He would just stop the entire factory, just shut it all down. And they learned to respect what he said. The first time he took the state boards, he did not pass. And the gentleman who was waiting to sell the clinic to him said, I just don't know how that happened. Let me find out. And so he said, well, Doc, he said it was fair that everybody had a number. And Dad says, yeah, but they had us count off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they know my number. But the second time, he did pass. And so after being licensed, he opened Southern Oaks Animal Clinic on May 1st, 1966. He was the first African American to practice veterinary medicine in Dallas and the third in the state of Texas. He was appointed to the Texas Racing Commission, the Greyhound section, and served from 1993 to 1999. And so that's when Ann Richards was governor. That's when he was appointed to the Racing Commission. When he would go out and talk to young people, he would talk to them about a report card for life. Because when the FBI did their background check, because when you're working on the Racing Commission, there's gambling and all that kind of stuff. So they took it all the way back to elementary school. They went and found classmates and all that kind of thing to see what his character was like. He also mentored many young people who were interested in veterinary medicine, especially through Dallas ISD and the High School for Health Professions. So a lot of times there were young people that were coming in to intern with him to see whether or not they might be interested. And it's a good thing to find out that you're not, when you're in high school, rather than when you get ready to go to vet school. But there were some that went on, and at any rate, they would go on to college, even if they didn't go into veterinary medicine. He was also a member of the Dallas County Veterinary Medical Association, and because public health is important, he was instrumental in getting legislation passed that said that only veterinarians could administer rabies vaccination. Because you can go to the feed store and get distemper shots and all this other kind of thing, but rabies is something that passes from the animal to humans, and therefore it's a public threat and needed to be under the auspices of veterinarians. So he was responsible for working with Arlene Northwest to get that legislation passed. His daughter, Diana Rudolph Harper, graduated from UT Austin with a degree in biology from Texas Women's University with a master's in biology. I'm married to Anthony Ray Harper Sr. He's an instructional leader coach, so he works with coaches, math coaches at 10 schools in the district. And he also pastors in his hometown of Fremont, Texas. And we have 5 children. Our oldest just graduated with a degree in forensic accounting from Texas Wesleyan University, and then a week later got married. So I have a bonus daughter now. Our daughter is she's in her last semester at Oklahoma Baptist University in Family Science and Community Services. Raymond is interning with Young Life, with Wildlife, where he's ministering to middle school students through an after-school program. Antonio is our homeschool high school senior, looking at either CFNI, but Christ for Nations Institute, but looking at creative media and culinary arts, together as field. And then my 16-year-old Andrew is a football player for the Dash Spartans, and so he's looking at, after his career in the NFL, then being a coach and a teacher. My dad's son, only one son, Edward Morris Magruder, attended Texas A&M University. It has a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine from there and a PhD in microbiology. And Edward is the Chief Science Officer at Elanco. His wife Patricia is an attorney, and they were in China for 2.5 years, learning culture, so they were immersed in it, and the boys were fluent in it. And then the oldest son, Jonathan, is currently working with NASA as a sophomore in college. So that's his, he's doing a co-op with them, and then in the summer he'll be working here in Lockheed Martin, building this. And Chandler is a running back at IMG. His youngest daughter, Anita Magruder Johnson, attended A&M. I went to UT, and my siblings going to A&M. I don't know if I was wrong, but anyway. She earns a PhD in clinical psychology. Her husband, Vernell, he has a doctor of medicine in emergency medicine. That's his specialty. But he also helps to staff other hospitals with emergency physicians, and I believe he's chief medical officer of one of them. They have 2 children. One is Vernell, who is at Mizzou, University of Missouri, and then a daughter who is a junior there in Olympia Fields, Illinois. And so when Mom and Dad moved for a little bit to Illinois, he was thinking that, all his legacy and everything was in his body. But actually, as you see, his legacy is in his children, in his grandchildren. He has a group chat with them, so he gives that grandfatherly wisdom to them. And then also, in terms of the many people that he mentored through his 52 years, I think, of active practice in the community. So that's the living legend, DRC Girl
Dr. Magruder, but before I present it with him, I want to sit here and thank everybody here from my heart. I got into this business 25 years ago. It's because I know I love history. And we have a lot of Black Americans in here. And it's an honor for me to be able to run a facility and do my best to make sure that you guys are treated with respect and dignity, because you have paved the way for all of us. Through your tears, through your working hard, you have paved the way for us all. And I can't wait to celebrate the other cultures and all the different backgrounds with all of you. But in honor of Dr. Magruder here, and your daughter did a wonderful job, this plaque is presented to you for his lifetime of achievements in honor of Black History Month from the Villa at Mountain View. All right. And I wanted to be a veterinarian when I was little. I love animals. Here you go. And I And I still have the box, so if y'all want to put it back in the box. And we really, really want to thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm just happy to be here. This is my family. I said everything that I do for me. And because some of them can't speak for themselves. And it's an honor to be here and an honor to receive this plaque. But at the same time, she told everything I told her to say. but some of this, still going back to segregation. And that's how I met a young man. And he told me about some sisters in Wichita. So my wife was the only one that wasn't married. But he like I say, also, I was the first African American from Oklahoma to finish from Oklahoma State. I know it just happened to be that way and anything, but it just happened. And after I left, he was there and he had some friends from his hometown. They got in, but he didn't. So, we think about, we got one. That's how it was back in the 50s and 60s. We got one. So he went to Tuskegee, finished, and he practiced in a town that was very prejudiced back in the 50s. You couldn't even stop in this town. But he still practiced. And then, to make things greater, he was on board the region for 16 years. And then, he told me, well, D, I'm their boss now. But he was just like, in Oklahoma, you share what you have. And he was on Relation University and saw that they got the things that were taken from them from Oklahoma State. Just like Texas A&M, Land-Grant College, they got things taken from Prairie View, taken from Prairie View. But one thing I do want to say, that when we did come to Texas, in Oklahoma, we like I say, we integrated. And matter of fact, my wife, we talked about the 9 children from Little Rock. Well, I kind of researched and thought about things, and then I wrote a little statement, Story Untold. And she and her sister finished, and we went to integrate in 55. And after a year after, they integrated in Little Rock. And then when we went back on the 50 class reunion, this young guy, well, he was young 50 years later, he said, I don't know why you got a plaque. We let you in. So everybody else, this time, about 50 years later, they were really upset. So they came to apologize. And it just happened. I tell young people, you have to be aware of your surroundings and that you are the company you keep. And then you always prepare to see what's going on. As I can tell lots of stories, but not that many. But my senior year, we went to Tulsa at a factory. And so, in my mind, I thought about it. I said, now if I go, I might run into a problem. But if I don't go, I might have something. So the professor say, it's called it Dorsey, that's what they call it. He said, you want to go? He said, you can go with me. I said, okay.